I remember back when the Batman Arkham DLCs were first coming out, and these were absolutely amazing at the time. And I just loved the playable stuff because it gave you extra content, it gave you things to do, and they were essentially like long side missions, which is exactly what the games are going for. And today, I wanted to go over the best Batman Arkham DLCs. I'm going to go over the best three. Let me know what you guys think the best three playable DLCs are down in the comments below, because I remember how good these things were as a kid. So I went back and played them recently and thought, is it really as good as I remember it being? So we're going to find that out. We're going to answer that question in today's video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and let's get into the video. For the honorable mention, I've gone with Harley Quinn's Revenge. It was debate between this one and the number 3 entry, but I thought that Harley Quinn's Revenge was kind of fitting right here in this spot. Even though Harley Quinn's Revenge was really good at the time and definitely considered the best Batman Arkham DLC, mostly because there wasn't any competition stacking up to it at the time, I personally thought that it was okay. It wasn't bad, there wasn't really anything inherently wrong with it. I just personally thought it was kind of middle of the pack, but it did kind of get me thinking about something that I'm going to get into in a bit. It gave me an idea for the whole Arkham Knight situation. But starting this off, I mean, our boy Robin just starts straight up aura farming right out the gate, trying to mock Batman and trying to be like Batman, trying to speak the same way as Batman, and throwing a thug through a TV. Yeah, this guy's definitely just straight up aura farming, I'm not gonna lie. Now, once Robin is done trying to absolutely rob someone of their entire personality, we are making our way through the steel mill, where we actually discover Harley Quinn talking to the armed thugs, the Joker thugs, and it is essentially our goal right now to look for Batman, as if he can't just get himself out of this predicament, but whatever, I guess we have to save Batman. After Robin continues to absolutely aura farm his way through a bunch of Joker thugs, we actually have to get through an armed guard, which actually comes to discover... Oh yeah, we have a bullet shield, by the way. Yeah, we can just block bullets, I guess, now. I guess that's just something that we have. I don't know why Batman doesn't want to use something like that. I guess he's just way cooler than Robin. He's got to use a bullet shield to get around these armed thugs, but whatever. I think it's actually kind of a cool gadget. But the next section proves that I myself am not as smart as I make myself out to be. I prove that I am in fact not the world's greatest detective and trying to figure out how to escape this room and how to get out quickly. And honestly, I got stuck in this for way too long. I feel like a complete and utter doofus. In both the Robin and Batman section of this DLC, yeah, I got stuck in this room. I'm a complete moron. I'm not gonna lie to you. I kept grappling up to areas that I didn't need to grapple up to. I kept trying to use things I didn't need to use. I had no idea what I was doing. I felt like a complete and utter buffoon. This absolute goober of a room made me feel really stupid. I'll tell you that one for free. But eventually I get finished having -1 brain cells and realize that the simple solution is often the best one, meaning going out the only open door in the room. I know, it was very hard for me to figure out, but eventually we made it there. And this pretty much concludes the end of the Robin section, where we beat up a bunch of thugs, where, like I've said before, Robin just continues to aura farm, continues to try to be like Batman, where we discover his belt. Now, I don't want to know what his belt is doing on the floor, if you kind of catch my drift, if you know what I'm saying. Why is his belt on the floor in a building where Harley Quinn's living? I'm not throwing anything out there. You're the one thinking this. It's definitely not me. It then cuts to 2 days earlier, in which we find out that Gordon's men have been captured and kidnapped, and Batman's got to rescue them. What a shocker, I know. Gordon's men getting kidnapped. That never happens in the Batman universe or any sort of superhero universe ever. The cops are always so competent. This is the first time that has ever happened. So now it's our objective to save these cops. And man, am I glad to be using Batman. To be honest, I much prefer his character over Robin's. I don't know what it is. Then it's just with me personally, I do not like these characters that involve batons or nightsticks or anything like that. I don't personally like it. I prefer beating dudes with my hands. Pause. It's just a lot more enjoyable for me. Pause! So after talking to the cop that we just saved, it turns out that a bunch of the cops were taken outside and beaten the crap out of, to which we find a blood trail. Now this leads us to a door, which takes us to the most annoying sequence of this DLC, and it's something that irritates me about a lot of these types of DLCs to make the time drag on longer. We have to go get the 3 key cards in order to access the building, or go get the 3 codes, or whatever, to access the building. This is what bothers me about these type of DLCs. Especially because as soon as I go to the first thugs to interrogate, for the code, oh, well, my game's just glitched, so don't worry, I can't interrogate him even if I wanted to. Like, I legitimately managed to punch a thug through the wall and push him up 2 floors. And even when I'm able to eventually knock him unconscious, I still cannot get that 3rd thug to interrogate him. So I basically have to start the blood trail thing all over again. It was annoying. I almost considered not continuing, but I did anyway for the sake of this video. Now finally, after all the running around and all the stupidity with the 3 codes, I finally get inside the steel mill, where I immediately take on some thugs, which afterwards is my second dumb moment of the video. Literally, my IQ decided to go back to -1 for this one. I don't even know how I passed kindergarten. I don't know how I graduated high school. I don't know how I did any of that stuff. Considering how this unfolded, it was absolutely terrible. A bunch of marbles. I don't even deserve the right to play as Batman anymore after this. That's how sad this ended up getting. After my stupidity senior moment, after a couple fights later, we finally get to the interesting part of the DLC, seeing how Batman got captured. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's kind of a stupid reason, right? I understand Batman's jumping in front of the cop, whatever, he's showing he's willing to sacrifice himself to save others. I get it. But, like, could you not just throw a batarang at her or something? Harley's not some special supervillain or anything like that. She's nothing crazy. She doesn't have anything on her that these guys don't have. Yeah, her gun's deadly. So are the guns that these guys have. So I don't understand why you couldn't have just thrown a batarang at her. But I'll let it slide because I understand it's for the sake of the DLC to let us see Robin's own progression into becoming his own person. Which, after this, it switches back to Robin. And honestly, I'm kind of just there like,
no! God, please, no! 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 No!
okay, maybe Robin's not that bad, but it's pretty dang close. To be honest, I don't love using Robin. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't care about him. This is Batman Arkham City, not Batman and Robin Arkham City. Don't really care about it too much, to be honest. The most interesting thing that Robin does throughout the rest of this DLC is essay Harley Quinn. But I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of you guys are probably fiending to be Robin in that position there. And I caught you looking again. Seriously? How do I catch you 2 videos in a row? Looking at Harley Quinn, bro. Of all people, you choose Harley Quinn. The absolute psychopath she is. Now, one short fight involving a Titan later, and bam! We managed to wake Batman up. We somehow managed to activate the Joker thing, which in turn means Batman just basically punches his way out of the ball. Like, as if he couldn't have done that this entire time. He all of a sudden developed the ability. Now that Robin showed up, I mean, okay, whatever, man. Now you're starting to push your luck on things that I can accept. Now, once Batman's been rescued, Robin's like, you ever heard of thank you? And Batman's like, anyway, the cops, how are they doing? Robin's like, oh, whatever, man, I just wanted to thank you. And Harley Quinn has to chime in with that, well, we got these bombs here that you have to defuse now. So great, now we have bombs to defuse. So we go ahead and do that. And this is also a relatively stupid moment for me, but not as bad as the previous 2. See, after I get done with the second bomb, once I get that defused, I just straight up run away. I completely forget that I even actually have to defuse it myself. It takes me a few seconds to realize, wait a minute, I actually gotta go back and defuse it. This is like, I should just be stripped of my rights to be able to make videos on Batman at this point. I think I've lost the right to even breathe Batman out of my voice at this point. It's just, it's not even something I should be allowed to do. So once we foil Harley's precious little plan, she's like, here, take on my Riddler bots, in which we easily defeat. I don't even know why that was a thing in the first place. But we managed to defeat Harley Quinn. We managed to get the diffuser off her hand. And she's like, well, it won't do you any good anyway, because the bomb's going to detonate regardless. So it's like, why'd you even have the detonator in your hand in the first place, you stupid woman? I don't understand why these guys sexualize you, unless they just think they could take advantage of you. Because you're so stupid! And so anyway, the bomb goes off. For a second, it looks like, oh, well, Batman's dead. Oh, it turns out he's actually not dead. He actually escaped with Harley Quinn at the last second. The only thing that's unknown right now is Robin's location, as well as the cops. Which, I'm going to bounce back to that idea I mentioned earlier, about the whole Arkham Knight thing, right? You notice how at the end, we think that Robin's dead for a moment, and then it did the whole fake-out gotcha type thing? What if that just wasn't a fake-out, right? We genuinely were left believing that in Harley Quinn's Revenge, Robin dies. Then, bam, he comes back in Arkham Knight as the Arkham Knight. It doesn't have to be Tim Drake. It could be Dick Grayson. It can be Tim Drake. It could be Jason Todd. It doesn't really matter who the Robin is. We think that this person's dead, then the hallucination flashbacks in Batman Arkham Knight could have made more sense because we witnessed the events of Batman Arkham City, Harley Quinn's Revenge. So now we know, oh, this is actually what happened, and now we actually have good reason to think, oh, this guy's dead, and now there's a bit more of an explanation as to why the former Robin hates us. But instead, we got this, and I think my idea is kind of cool for Arkham Knight, because it could have carried over, it could have made a better story, could have made a better excuse. I'm just keeping on finding excuses to hound on the whole Arkham Knight character thing at this point. But it also would have created some good reason to go after Harley Quinn, because you can't really go after the Joker in Arkham Knight for finding out Jason Todd was actually alive, considering the fact that he's dead. But if Harley Quinn's still alive, which she is, bam, there you go, we can go after her now. Anyway, that's Harley Quinn's revenge done. Time to move on to the number 3 entry.
Don't worry, Barb. We got this. He's gonna be all right.
How can you be so sure?
Well, for one, Robin's a good luck.
Going to the number 3 spot is actually A Matter of Family from Batman Arkham Knight. This DLC was just straight up very, very good. And I put it over Harley Quinn's Revenge for a couple of different reasons. First and foremost being, it takes place in a new setting. It's a completely different map. It's something that's completely unique. It's something we haven't seen before. And I think that's something that a lot of fans, it's something like people like me, would actually want to gravitate towards. It's just little things, and the fact you play as Batgirl, her combat in this game is so fire. Snap the picture of me being a creep and looking at her, just absolutely destroying these goons. I don't care, bro. That is someone who I would rather simp over compared to Harley Quinn. It's not even close. The DLC starts, and we get to see Batgirl absolutely attempt at aura farming, just being so fire with her combat, bro. Just putting these little dumb bros down for good, showing them who's really the boss. And Robin comes in and he's like, yeah, I'm on my way. Literally hiding in a corner and doesn't come out until Batgirl's about to get shot. Proving that this guy literally just tries to aura farm. There is nothing else to him. He either tries to copy people's personality constantly, or it's just constantly aura farming. And I ain't here for it, to be honest. Batgirl is so much better than Robin in this game, in every single way, and this just buries the nail in the casket. However, what I will say about this DLC is it's very similar to Harley Quinn's Revenge, where it's mostly about saving cops, particularly Jim Gordon's been kidnapped by the Joker. Again, going to show that the cops in this universe absolutely suck. I mean, they suck in every iteration of Batman. That's why Batman exists. I get it. But, like, could they just at least be, like, competent once in a while and not just be complete garbage? Like, no wonder Batman doesn't want you guys on his team, right? Batman Arkham Origins, Batman's like, just get out of my way, bro. Like, you guys are so trash. You guys can't even do anything right. You're straight up garbage. And honestly, I bet your parents are very disappointed in you guys because you guys are not men. You guys are not cops. You are straight up shrimp and losers. Now, I'm not going to lie. I don't hate the content that we got out of it as a result. But what I do not like about this whole cop thing is that it takes up a lot of filler, and it copies something from the main game, Batman Arkham Knight. You throw some sort of batarang that can basically detect where people are, detect noises. I forget what the correct term for it is. But oh, now we find these 3 cops and 3 very far away locations that we gotta save in order to fill more time. But the benefit of the doubt I'm willing to give to that is the fact that the content filled in was good, right? The armed thug sections were very good. Hand-to-hand combat's very good. Batgirl, like I said, she's just straight up fire. Now, I'm going to be honest. There isn't really a lot in this DLC that happens. It's mostly just saving the 3 cops. However, Joker does bring up this very interesting section of these police officers are essentially drowning, and you have to beat up a bunch of thugs, explosive Joe the wall, and explode it in order to save them. I thought that this was a really cool section, and there's a lot of thugs to take on. This takes a while. It takes a few minutes. At least in the moment, it feels like it's long, right? Because you're used to most Batman Arkham counters where it takes like 30 seconds to a minute. This felt like it took like 5-10 minutes. I don't think it actually took that long, but I thought this was a very cool section overall to add into the game. Oh, but as soon as we're done with this, oh heavens no, you are not allowed to breathe. In fact, there is a bomb at the park entrance that we have to go take care of. Oh, and we have a minute and a half. Now, for me personally, that's a lot of time because you don't even have to deal with any thugs in order to get there. However, for some people, this could be a bit of a struggle. But I will say for me personally, not to brag or anything, but this is just so easy. I'm giving myself a little pat on the back. I'm just honestly the greatest thing that's ever been around since sliced bread. But, like, you don't need to congratulate me on it or anything. Oh, and now that we've defused the bomb, yeah, we have a bunch of thugs to take on. And medics are here for some reason, even though they're not introduced until night in the timeline. If you want to be, like, that technical about it, but, like, whatever, it is what it is, no biggie. But, yeah, there's a bunch of thugs after the bombs. Not before, after. It's a bit of a puzzling thing for me. But you know what? I'll let it slide. Because honestly, I'm just so generous. Because if I didn't like it, then no one else is allowed to like it. So you know what? For the sake of the community, I'm willing to let this one go. Now, once we get done dealing with those medics and all the thugs, the things that shouldn't have been in the game. But again, I'm willing to let it slide. There's actually an armed thug section, which leads us to a couple of cops and a Ferris wheel. And this part absolutely gave me fits for no reason. This triggered me to the maximum. Like, I don't think I could stress enough how frustrating this part was to me. Because there's the two cops on the wheel, right? Well, I bring it down. I bring it to a complete stop, okay? And he could have easily gotten off, but no, he's gonna be a little picky brat. I just saved his life, and this is how he thanks me. It's like slap me across the face and getting mad for making pancakes instead of waffles. Like, this was absolutely unacceptable behavior. I screwed up for the slightest bit, and now it's good enough for the little princess to get off. So you know what? Screw this cop. Screw the Gotham police force. They all suck. I should have just let them die for all I care. Now, once we get done with the little picky Princess Bride who should have worn a friggin' dress to this, we finally get to the end encounter, the boss battle, where it's Harley Quinn, Joker, and some thugs. And even though some people might not consider this a boss battle, I would consider Joker in any context to be a boss battle, because he is a lot tougher to deal with compared to other thugs, because he doesn't mind taking pain. He likes it. He enjoys the dark side to it. But I'm going to be 100% honest, this isn't really that hard, right? It's not. They're essentially regular thugs with a bigger health bar. But I don't hate that, to be honest. I kind of like it, especially considering the fact that, like I said, Batgirl's combat is just so fire. Like I've said it 3 times now. I'm going to say it a 4th. It's so fire. Oh my gosh. But not me sipping over Batgirl in 2025. That is kind of crazy. Especially because she ends up being a cripple. So I probably wouldn't be able to have a relationship with her anyway. Anyway, moving back to the boss fight part of this. The boss fight isn't the hardest thing in the world, but I like that because I can't just like sit there spamming A-B battering takedowns with Batgirl, and it's nice and easy, but it's also not too easy to where, I could just push over them in 10 seconds. No, this takes time, all because they have a bigger health bar. But I made it a point to target Harley Quinn first because I wanted to target Harley Quinn first. I don't know why, I just decided to do it. I just enjoy beating up women, I guess. Pause, resume, fast forward. Yeah, beating up women, a lot of fun. Resume and fast forward. And once we get through this boss battle, eventually we are finally able to free Gordon, which has been the mission from the start. But in the end, the Joker just ends up escaping anyway, so none of this really matters, right? Well, I would also argue that it was just kind of the fun of it, right? To have something with the Joker in it. Because even though he's dead, they wanted a way to include him in a way where he could actually be alive. And him floating off into the sunset with a parachute is kind of the Joker way to do this. So it's kind of a little fun little send-off for his character, I guess you could say. And overall, I like this DLC. It was fun. There was a lot of filler, and you're probably going to wonder why I didn't talk about this one as much as I did like Harley Quinn's Revenge. And it's because there's not really a whole lot to talk about without kind of just going over every little boring detail. I don't want to really be like, oh, he did this and he did that. No, I want to try to keep it somewhat entertaining for you guys. So, yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot of detail to talk about because a lot of what happened here was combat. So if you enjoyed the combat, you're going to love this DLC. The number 2 spot is going to actually go to the Season of Infamy DLC in Batman Arkham Knight. This one was actually really good for its time. I really did enjoy it. It's still really good today. It's a really good play. I decided to play through this from my least favorite to my most favorite since there's 4 parts to this DLC. So I'm not going to waste too much of your time. Let's just get right into this. I actually started off with the Mad Hatter one. Now I'm not going to lie to you. I don't care for the Mad Hatter. He's literally a knockoff Walmart version of the Riddler. Is he bad? Yes, actually. He's bad. I don't like him at all. There is nothing about him that's interesting. He's literally a midget. I could stomp on this guy like a bug if I wanted to. I don't even know how this guy's still around, or how he's still alive, or how he still figured out to hypnotize people. He's kind of like a mixture of the Riddler and Scarecrow. And not even, like, in a good way. He's, like I said, he's a little midget twerp. So anyway, the DLC starts and he's like, "You better find the boys in blue, or otherwise I'm gonna blow them up." I couldn't think of a rhyme on the spot. I'm sorry. I've kind of let you guys down here. But yeah, we gotta find 3 cops. I'm starting to notice a theme with these DLC missions that really adds in a lot of filler. I don't want to complain too much, but like, you really had to add in false filler. You couldn't just add in more of like the hallucination stuff. No? Okay. Cool, whatever. However, I'm going to give this game its due on this one thing. This little mini game with the hacking the explosive device thing, I actually think it's kind of cool. I actually kind of like it. I wish that we had more stuff like this. If there was more stuff like this, I wouldn't be too bothered about having to do these kind of side things. Honestly, I like this part of the side mission. I like saving the cops. However, I kind of want more explanation as to how he's able to make these guys hallucinate. How Mad Hatter is able to hypnotize these people so easily. I kind of want a bit of a further explanation on that. I don't just want, oh, I hypnotized him and put him in a trunk. Like, how did you do it, bruh? You gotta give us something. So anyway, we go to save the third cop, and oh, he's actually not in the trunk. Oh, where could he be? So we have to go back and be like, Mad Hatter, I'm going to break my no-kill rule on you if you do not tell me where this third cop is. And he's like, read this book because you're a little nerd. So we go into the book. He's somehow able to hypnotize us, again, without further explanation. But it takes us through the 3 Rocksteady games of Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and Batman Arkham Knight, giving us the main thugs from each game. I thought this was kind of cool. And I had an even cooler idea of what if it also on top of that, they added in, like, the combat from those games. So, for example, if you're dealing with Arkham Asylum thugs, you get Asylum's combat. You get Arkham City's thugs, you get Arkham City combat. You get the point. Because then it shows the progression of how much these games have improved. Because the combat is so good in this game. So if you make me start off with Arkham Asylum, clunky combat, then you make me progress all the way to Night, clunky combat, or not clunky, but really good combat, then you can see the progression throughout the games. So we finally get through the 3 stages eventually, and Mad Hatter's like, please do not hit me, for I will most likely pee. See, I gotta rhyme that time. You guys gotta give me a round of applause for that one. We hit him, we freaking take the stupid hat away once and for all, and we finally throw this guy into a friggin' jail cell. I don't know how this guy manages to escape. Like, is he so small that he can fit through the prison bars? They gotta make a custom-sized prison for this guy, man. But my thoughts on this DLC was that this actually wasn't that bad. This was probably the best Mad Hatter section, at least in my opinion. I thought this was actually decently well written. Yeah, the cop sections where you have to go rescue the cops, it's a little bit of filler, but it's something that I can live with because I liked the defusing the bomb sections. The second of 4 I decided to do was actually the Killer Croc part of the DLC. This one was very good because it was very eye-opening. It was very good storytelling actually in this one. There's actually some consideration that had gone into this one clearly. I like this ship. The ship is actually like really cool. It takes you a minute to figure out that it's Killer Croc. It takes one of the guards telling you that this is all about Killer Croc. But honestly, I actually really did like this mission overall. There's a lot of good stuff that I do want to say about this. So without wasting too much of your time, let's get into it. Now, I'm not a Croc hater or anything, but has anyone considered putting this guy down? I mean, Batman technically has a no-kill rule. Ugh, this guy's so boring, bro. Why can't we just put Killer Croc down, bro? It's literally Killer Croc. It's in his freaking name! Why can't we just put him down? Anyway, enough crashing out. Apparently, this story takes place after some sort of crash that was caused by Killer Croc, and we essentially have to save one of the cops, which leads us to saving the warden, who gets kidnapped by Killer Croc. Now, there is a deeper story that's going to go into this later, but for the time being, we're just going to stick to the basics of the pilots / guards, whoever it was that were running the ship. They actually decided to leave, which means that after we get done beating up some thugs and we need access to a room, we have to leave the ship. Okay. I don't want to keep beating a dead horse. I mean, I do. I'm going to keep beating a dead horse. Pause. However, I am getting so sick of these detours for the sake of filler! Oh my gosh! The filler's driving me insane! Okay, everything's okay. Just take a deep breath. I'm going to try to get through the rest of this video without crashing out, but if I see any more filler, I'm probably just going to go cry to my friends. Okay, you caught me. I don't have any friends. But we get to the first cop, and oh, surprise, surprise, he's dead. We're in Gotham. Shocker. Whatever. We get to the second cop, and this guy's all like, well, I can't give you the code, Batman. Batman's like, give me the code. He's like, I can't. He's like, give me the code. I can't. Okay, but Killer Croc escaped. Oh, okay, here's the code. Like, bro, it was really that easy? I mean, I don't want to have to beat you up, but I will if I have to. So now once we get back to the ship, it's like, oh, now we can finally go take on Killer Croc once and for all and finally go stop him because he's clearly the bad guy, right? Well, no. Not so fast. It actually turns out that the Warden has been torturing and experimenting on Killer Croc. And let's just say I saw some disgusting things. I cannot unsee it. The Warden is an evil monster who definitely also needs to be put down. But so does Killer Croc, bro. What does he benefit by having in society? Honestly, I think we need to start a petition to put down Killer Croc. But the Warden is way worse than Killer Croc because he was torturing and experimenting on him. At least Killer Croc is most likely not going to torture you. He's probably just going to eat you. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, this boss fight is kind of mid, to be honest. Mostly because of the fact that you can't even, like, hit Killer Croc. Your whole game plan literally revolves around beating up some thugs to be able to do a dual team takedown. And rinse and repeat. That's it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't love it. I want to be able to hit the boss. I understand he's gonna have more health and that's gonna take time, but it's more enjoyable than beating up thugs just to do a dual team takedown. It's literally that, rinse and repeat. I have nothing else to say on that. But overall, this DLC was not bad at all, and it kind of tells a really good story about how some people are not always what they seem, but we're going to get into that point later. The third part of the Season of Infamy DLC is actually the Mr. Freeze section. This part was very interesting, and of course, because it involves Mr. Freeze, that means it's going to involve Nora. Oh my gosh, this guy has zero personality outside of Nora. But I digress. This part of the DLC was one of the best, in my opinion, for a multitude of different reasons, right? First of all, it pulls on the heartstrings with the ending, right? Especially if you're like a big goo goo gaga baby and you like to cry a lot, then yeah, you're probably going to cry at this and have your heartstrings pulled a little bit. But also, I knew that this was going to be a banger as soon as I pulled up and saw armed thugs outside. They are making me wait just to get this side mission started. Just to get this part of the DLC started, I had to take out over 10 armed thugs. Are you kidding me? They are really edging me out here. They are really amping me up with excitement. So this better deliver. But the DLC starts and Mr. Freeze is like, I can't protect my wife because I don't love her. I actually hate her. I'm just coming up with this cure to make some money. I don't even actually really want her around anymore, to be honest. Batman's like, no, you don't mean that. I'll go find her. So, of course, we have to leave to Gotham. I'm actually going to crash out. This is getting so bad. The multitude of times of filler, bro. This part of the DLC would have lasted 10 minutes. In that 10 minutes was quality. Then you had to put in, oh, let's go to this location. Just for her to not be there, it's just a tracking device in this box. Then we have to go to a separate location, which we finally find her. And that is where the DLC truly gets started, taking out 2 waves of thugs. But Victor blames us, actually, for Nora getting stolen in the first place. Oh, I wouldn't work with these bad guys, and they took her because, like I said before, I don't love her. But that's all your fault, so I'm going to shoot you. But like I said before, the writing during the story for this DLC is quality. The actual romantic connection that these two genuinely share for one another. It's not like at this point that Nora's kind of just lost feelings or something along those lines, because she is conscious and aware of what's going on. She just can't do anything because she's under cryostasis the entire time. Her and Victor clearly love each other, and there's some sort of genuine connection there between each other, and that's all well and good. And then it kind of comes out that Nora does not want to be saved anymore. She does not want to be frozen. She wants Victor to give it up and let him just live his life. That this is not how she wants him to be spending the rest of his life. Potentially fixing something that he might not be able to fix regardless. And it's kind of sad. Like I said before, if you are a big crybaby, then this is definitely going to pull at your heartstrings. I ain't going to lie to you. I even get a little bit upset at stuff like this. Do I cry? No. I'm a real man, okay? I do not shed tears like a big baby over stuff like this. But what I will say is, this definitely does pull on the heartstrings. It definitely resonates if you have a significant other that you care about very much in your life, and you do not want anything like this to happen to them. Yeah, it's going to resonate with you a little bit. You're going to feel that a little bit in the heartstrings. Now, unfortunately, this part of the DLC, there isn't really much else for me to speak on, because nothing else really happened. It's essentially just the end of these two's chapter. They're going to spend their final days together, doing whatever it is that makes them happy. And of course, you know, it is a bit sad. But honestly, the only thing I can think about is the fact that we had to do a tank battle. Like, are you kidding me? We did enough of those in the story, and you're going to bring in the friggin' Batmobile into these sections, bro? Are you kidding me? I didn't mind the little racetrack part where you only had a minute and a half or whatever it was to get back. But you bring in Batmobile encounters into this, bruh. I rate this at number 2 because of the good story, the amazing writing that went into this. But, bruh, I swear, you make me bring in Batmobile tank combat. I came this close to uninstalling. I was this close. For the final Season of Infamy DLC portion, I think everybody could agree the best part is the Ra's al Ghul part. At least in my opinion, this one was absolutely fantastic. Because this one sparks up a conversation, even between Batman and Alfred, and I'm sure between a lot of us here in the Batman Arkham community, of is the death of Ra's al Ghul justified? Is it murder? Are we killing this man? My answer is no. how would it's possibly murdering someone? But we're gonna get into that shortly, okay? I don't really want to, like, step over too many toes just yet. But this part of the DLC, in my opinion, by far the best part. Was there a bit of filler? Yes. And I'm gonna crash out about that in a little bit. But for right now, this part, like I said, absolutely amazing. So the beginning of this DLC is actually a little bit gruesome. We come across these two assassins who were fighting each other. I'm just going to skip straight to the point. They were fighting each other. They're covered in a pool of their own blood. But it turns out there's a third set of blood, which leads us to a trail that we have to follow. Now, funnily enough, following this trail leads us to Elliott Memorial Hospital, which I'm going to assume is in honor of the Elliott family, who Thomas Elliott, the Hush guy, right? It's all connected in some sort of way. See, I know my Batman lore a little bit. We see me. But upon entering the hospital, I'm not going to lie, I got stuck here for a solid 10-15 minutes. I wish I could say I was joking. The amount of times I picked the thing I need to do and using the Batmobile and didn't do it the right way, eventually, I'm just going to be honest, I gave it up and I looked it up. I had to Google it. And it had been so long since I played this, I had to Google how to get out of this specific section. How to restore the power to the hospital. Yeah, completely blanked it all out and decided to Google it. Sue me. Anyway, once I figured out how to have more than one brain cell, for some reason it just happens to me sometimes, no big deal, we're gonna move on. We end up moving down an elevator shaft, which leads us to the end of the trail. We finally made it. We've been chasing it for so long. We made it to the end of the line, which leads us to this panel sequence, which I'm pretty sure I tried every single combination possible before I actually got the right combination. I don't know if I'm slow on purpose sometimes, because, like, I have these moments of, like, straight-up brilliance, and I feel like I'm better than Batman. And then I have these moments where, like, I feel like I'm just, like, Robin. Like, I'm just a complete moron and kind of just a useless sidekick. Now, finally is the time to insert Ra's al Ghul himself. The man, the myth, the legend. How dare we even try to walk up to him, though? Because as soon as we do, the assassins are like, hey, you should not go near the great Ra's al Ghul. This guy is the GOAT. He's better than Messi and Ronaldo combined. And it's like, alright, little bro, let's sit down. You literally know I can take on your little spazzes and dweebs in a second. It doesn't matter how many of you there are. I will always come out on top. You guys are shrimp, and I could literally murder you if I tried. But then you get this one assassin who walks up to you, and she's all like, you know, if you look the other way and help us restore Ra's back to full health, I can do you a lot better than Talia ever did, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink. Of course, we're keeping it PG here on the channel, but I think us adults know what we're referring to here. Yeah, that. Wait, no, not that. Ew. You see, this is why I like Batman so much, because he ain't a simp. He ain't falling for the bait or the games, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter how tight and snatched this shorty is. Batman's all there like, I do not care. Get rid of the Lazarus Pit, or I will see to it myself. And of course, Batman knows he's going to have to take care of it himself. These assassins are loyal to the end, and they are not ever going to want to kill the great Ra's al Ghul. And this is going to start to spark the question, is it okay to kill him? Because it's not really murder, because he's artificially extending his life. So it becomes a very gray area. But it turns out, even after the Lazarus Pit was destroyed in Batman Arkham City, apparently there's another trace of Lazarus kicking around, because of course there is, which means we have to follow a trail in the Batmobile. Yep, you heard me say it. We have to do another one of these freaking Batmobile trails! Whatever, it is what it is. I'm gonna stay calm. No point in getting angry, because I'm just gonna get all wound up all over again anyway. So we have to follow a trail that leads us to this very dark, creepy area that I do not like one bit, but regardless, I digress. Now, once we get inside, we come across a fountain. This is where the rebels show up, because of course they do, right before we are about to destroy this last bit of Lazarus. Of course they have to show up to be like, oh, we're gonna kill you, you can't destroy it, we need it for the great Ra's al Ghul. Like I said, he's better than Messi and Ronaldo combined. Like, you guys are such chumps. It is absolutely freaking crazy to me how easily you guys can just get stomped on. But once I get done dealing with these absolute chumps, Nyssa decides to show up. And at first I'm thinking, please don't tell me that you're here to try to also save your dad. And then she's like, nah, I'm here to help you. I want to be the one to detonate. I'm like, aight, ball. You're a way better candidate than Talia al Ghul. At least you got some friggin' balls to follow through on the hard stuff here. Friggin' Talia, all she tried to do was kill Joker, I guess, but I think any one of them would have done that. I want to see someone who will take the initiative and actually kill their own freaking father. That's what I'm talking about. No, that's not a kink, I promise. But anyway, after we get done slinging the schlong and Nissa, we have to make our way back into the hospital, actually, where Alfred and Batman start having this discussion of, is it okay to kill Ra's al Ghul? I'm gonna say yes, bro. And not literally kill him. We don't even have to be the one to physically kill him. Just take away the Lazarus Pit and allow him to die on his own. Because by that logic, that means that any time that someone's dying, you can just throw them in the Lazarus Pit and save them, because that's what you do, Batman, right? No, it's not killing, it's not morally wrong, it's a natural part of life that eventually you are going to die. Not trying to get dark, but using something like the Lazarus Pit, it's just artificially extending your life, and it's not murder to take it away. So yes, I decided to destroy the last bit of Lazarus that is left. I would absolutely do it again. Because I know Batman technically doesn't kill, but guess what? First of all, I'm not Batman. I mean, I am Batman, but I'm not Batman in the sense of literally being him. So, I could do whatever I choose. If I choose to murder, I'm going to murder somebody. I don't really care. You really think it matters to me? Nah. Ra's, you're dying, boss. Sorry. Don't need you in Gotham anymore. Don't need another criminal to deal with. It takes someone easy off my hands. But also, like I said, it's not murder, bro. He's literally going to die without the Lazarus Pit. But so is anybody, so it's not the same thing at all. And with that is the end of Ra's al Ghul, because he's not going to come back. No Lazarus Pit. There's not going to be any sort of fake out of, ooh, does he actually come back? Is he going to come back to life this time? No, he's done. He's done for good. There is nothing left to really say on that matter. He is gone, and he's officially not going to come back. But not before Ra's al Ghul spitting out the last words of, proud of you. And Batman can't even be bothered to say, thanks, Ra's, I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you've done for me, yada, yada, yada. Nah, he's just there like, see ya, can't be bothered to talk to ya, bye! Overall, a very good DLC. I did enjoy it. I know I've crashed out over the filler and stuff, but you know what? This was very good. I understand that they do need a way to pad some time. I completely get it. Some of the people in this are very cool. I did like the Killer Croc, the Mr. Freeze, all that good stuff. However, Mad Hatter should have been substituted with Prometheus. That's a hill I'm going to die on till the day I die. It is a very big hill, because we really needed to see someone who can actually be Batman's physical as well as mental equals. Someone that we've been needing for a long time now. But honestly, I'm happy with what we got. A wide array of characters, some cool map settings, and all in all, a very good experience and the second best DLC in the Batman Arkham franchise. And, like, do I even need to say it? I mean, the best Batman Arkham DLC in the entire franchise easily goes to Batman Arkham Origins Cold Heart DLC. Hands down, the best and most well-detailed DLC in the entire franchise. I cannot wait to get into this, because this is straight up gold here. If every single one of the playable DLCs were like this, imagine like we had Robin, Nightwing, Batgirl's was kind of similar in the sense of the length. Imagine like we had Robin and Nightwing's and Catwoman's DLCs like this in Batman Arkham Knight. Batman Arkham Knight would have the best DLC panel. By far. Cold Heart is the most well-written DLC, and I cannot wait to get into this. So at the start of this DLC, we are absolutely glazing this guy named Ferris Boyle. I mean, we are absolutely pole smoking this guy to the finest degree. He's yapping about some nonsense, to be honest. I didn't really pay attention to what he was saying. Don't really care. Kind of yapping. He's like a politician. Don't care. Don't really want to hear it. And Bruce is like, Gotham needs more people like him. Bro, no, we don't, bro. Because anyone in Gotham, anybody ever that's come out of Gotham, with the exception of you, has been extremely corrupt. And then we get Mr. Freeze, who aura farms his way into the building, and he's like, oh, well, I just want Ferris Boyle. I don't want to cause any harm. As he's literally just destroying Bruce Wayne's property with a bunch of thugs. Which gets me wondering, like, do thugs just not try to break into Wayne Manor, like, on a regular basis? Like, does Bruce Wayne have some super high-level security? Because I know he's got a gate, but it's like, there's never any mention of security guards. And, like, I know he's Batman, but he's got to sleep at some point. And Alfred's got weapons, I guess, but I don't know. I'm just kind of curious. I just want to know what the security system's like around here. Like, I'm surprised that thugs don't try to break in here more, because they don't know Bruce Wayne's Batman. But anyway, now that these absolute buffoons have broken into Bruce Wayne's house, it's time for us to go put on the bat suit. But along the way, we actually have to do a stealth section as Bruce Wayne. I thought this was extremely cool for a couple of different reasons, right? One, I don't have gadgets, I don't have detective mode, I can't go up on the gargoyles and pray from above. No, I have to do this all by myself. And while there isn't an extraordinary amount of thugs or anything, I still think this is really cool. It adds a certain level of challenge to this, and it's something that I really enjoyed doing, and maybe in the future I will do a no gadgets, no detective mode run, or anything like that on Batman Arkham, whichever one you guys choose. So let me know if you guys want to see that. So anyway, once we get done dealing with some absolute alcoholics down here in the wine cellar, it is actually kind of sad. You guys need to seriously get a grip and reconsider your life choices. It's time to finally suit up, but not before they edge us, right? They're there like, oh, so you see this really cool environmental suit? Yeah, no, you can't use that right now. We're going to make you edge just for a little bit. You can't have the Batman porn just yet. That's going to have to wait till later. No Batman porn right now for you. Now, once we make our way out of the Batcave, we do actually find our friggin' house is on fire. What did these guys do? I was gone for less than 5 minutes, and they've almost set the entire manor ablaze. But once we get through a couple sections, one stealth, one hand-to-hand combat section, we have to deal with the most awkward encounter between Bruce and Batman I think I've ever seen. You'd think they would rehearse stuff like this, but check it out.
Sir, are you all right?
Thanks to you, the hero of Christmas Eve come to rescue us from the...
Can I trust you'll get these people to safety?
Of course. Now that you've dealt with most of these hooligans...
You should restore power to your sprinkler system to deal with these fires.
Not to worry. I won't allow Wayne Manor to burn to the ground.
Like, oh my gosh, it is so painfully obvious he came this close to calling him Master Bruce. It is so friggin' awkward, but we're gonna let it slide because I'm sure they didn't expect something like this to be taking place. And actually, as soon as we leave Alfred, we find Ferris Boyle. Like, bam, he's literally right there. Oh, but we can't save him just yet because then we wouldn't find out the deeper truth and the DLC would actually just be over. So Mr. Freeze is like, yeah, I'll take that. That's mine. I already invested money into this. You are absolutely mine. I already bought and paid for you, Ferris. I'm taking you home with me, and you're gonna be my new wife. Also, like, Brett, you can't just, like, freeze Batman up like this and then go, oh, but I don't have a problem with you. You basically just gave him the middle finger and said, bye. Like, bro, you are such a loser. I'm gonna stomp on your neck later if I get the chance. And as I'm chasing him down, I'm thinking I'm about to catch him. But no, it's actually a new type of thug where he's actually got, like, something similar, like, basically a Walmart version of Mr. Freeze's suit with the freeze gun, and this is a really cool enemy type. I mean, it's essentially an armored thug with the weapon, and you just essentially just cannot let it load up and shoot at you and freeze you, essentially. That's it. It's not a hard enemy, but I think it's a cool enemy, and it's a cool addition to the DLC. It's like, you pay for it, we're gonna give you a new enemy type, and you know what? I respect WB for doing this. Now, I guess we managed to leave one of the enemies somewhat conscious and able to breathe, because even though Batman doesn't kill, sometimes it sure feels like it. So he's interrogating this thug, and he's like, yo, where's the Ferris at? I really want to know. And the thug's all like, oh, I don't know. And Batman's like, bro, why are you lying to me? Like, you know how many of your friends I sent to the hospital on Christmas Eve? Thug goes, okay, it's like somewhere in the south of Gotham. So, like, you did know. Why would you waste your time lying to Batman after he literally just put a beating on you and all your friends? It doesn't really make any sense. You're kind of a moron. So we're all like, fine, I guess we're gonna head to the southern part of Gotham. Which we do. We come across this guy who's been deceased and fully encased in ice. This is actually utterly bizarre, but it does give us some clues as to where Mr. Freeze could have gone. So I guess we'll take the evidence and we'll take whatever we can get, figure out whatever's in Mr. Freeze's gun or whatever. And it just so happens that this thug happened to leave a trail for us to follow to other thugs who have even more information to tell us on Mr. Freeze's location. I love the conveniences, man, because it saves me a lot of time and a lot less filler, so I guess I can't really be too upset. But the thugs are like, Freeze is in Gothcorp. Batman's like, you're lying. I'm gonna snap your neck. I'm not afraid to break my no-kill rule. Thug's like, no, it's Gothcorp. You have to believe me, please. I got entry codes. Batman's like, Scoop? I'm gonna take those with me. Batman snaps his neck and goes, alright, I guess it's time to go to Gothcorp, completely disregarding the fact he could have just easily broken this guy's neck and killed him. So we go check out Gothcorp, see if everything's legit. We head in, and of course, there are thugs inside. What a big shocker. But we get up there, we deal with them with ease because these guys are absolute scrubs. And we absolutely riz up the guard. I mean, this guy was just oiled up for us and everything. Now, unfortunately for the guard, we essentially just hit it and quit it. Hit it with a, "Can you let me through here? I need to find Ferris." And he's like, "No, I don't got clearance, bro. I ain't that cool. You gotta go to the organics lab for that." Because, of course, his boss is in a place called the organics lab. But this is what I'm talking about with the filler, bro. If this guard could just have the security code, we could be through and on our way to dealing with Mr. Freeze. Instead, we gotta do an extra 10 minutes of running around and dealing with complete nonsense. I love filler. It's so much fun. So anyway, after a bunch of running around and after a bunch of filler that I'm not gonna crash out about this time, it seems like that penguin has double-crossed Mr. Freeze.
Give me Boyle, or I'll freeze this entire room.
Oh, I know you won't. Boyle's got the code you need, and I ain't giving him up unless I get what he's giving you.
What's behind this door is of no interest to you.
Now, as we've already established in this video, I'm kind of slow sometimes, but the way I interpret it, seems like Penguin double-crossed Freeze. It seemed like Penguin realized what Freeze was going to get and was like, "Oh, I want some for myself." Bro, you've already eaten the entire menu and then some. You don't need to eat more and get more stuff, you absolute fat midget buffoon, okay? You do not need any more. Let Mr. Freeze save his dying wife. But of course, Penguin doesn't care about none of that. He just wants more and more and more. I mean, look at him. He's fat. Of course he wants more. But I'm not going to lie, watching what happens next to Penguin is extremely hilarious, and I can't help but laugh every time I see it. Even though it stops us from doing what we need to do, it's still kind of funny. Watch this.
Threats are meaningless to a man who has lost everything.
Look at this absolute loser. He could literally do nothing about it right now if I just decided I'm taking his lunch money. Because what's he going to do about it? Try to eat me? He's stuck in ice. What's he going to do? Try to eat the ice? I wouldn't be surprised. He's fat enough to be able to do it at this point. Now, unfortunately, this means we're actually going to have to work with the penguin a little bit. You see, he explains in order to get through this ice, we're going to need a device that's called the cryo drill, because they are both trying to get to Mr. Boyle. They both want to stop Mr. Freeze, so I guess this is quote-unquote Batman's way of doing it. And he said that he had his men take it to the My Alibi nightclub for safekeeping, of course. So, we have to go to the My Alibi nightclub and get this friggin' weapon. But you see, before we can go get this cryo drill, it's finally time! Remember earlier when I mentioned the Batman porn? It's finally here. Check it out.
The thermal gloves should help you deal with most ice you encounter.
Oh yeah, that felt so good watching that. That really did me wonders there. Watching that Batman porn just got my shivers timbered. Oh, so good. And now that I'm feeling nice and relaxed after that nice little session, we run into an old friend here, Ricky Loose Lips. Hey, what's going on, buddy? So we interrogate him again. This guy has to be absolutely petrified. Like, every time he goes to bed at night, he's got to be suffering PTSD. And considering the fact we never saw him in any future games, you know he left Gotham just so he didn't have to deal with Batman anymore. And I don't really know if I blame him, to be honest. But it turns out that this gun has been stripped for parts and put into a couple different separate locations. So we have to go to multiple different locations to put this thing together to finally go and take on Mr. Freeze. There's more filler. Listen, I just hit a level of relaxation. That Batman porn put me in a really good place. And now you're gonna do this to me? But you know what? Fine. I will accept the filler in this one instance. Let's go collect these two different parts, and then we can finally go deal with Mr. Freeze, right? Hopefully there's no more holdups, no more blockages. We can finally go get Ferris Boyle. And so finally we make it back to Gothcorp. And after dealing with a heap of enemies and cryo vapor and this and that and everything, we actually stumble upon a crime scene. And this is where we get to discover what happened to Mr. Freeze, what created him into this monster. And surprise, surprise, Ferris Boyle is a terrible person. What a shocker. Who knew that people who come from Gotham City tend to be terrible people? Oh, that's right. I did and everybody else did on this freaking planet. I think Batman has to be the most naive human being that we've ever seen ever. Seriously, how do you not have any sort of reservations about how Ferris Boyle all of a sudden is just a top player in Gotham? No suspicions at all? Kind of sounds like this is your fault on this one. But essentially the gist of the story is that Ferris Boyle wanted help from Mr. Freeze to help create some sort of cryo weapons for GothCorp. In exchange, that Ferris Boyle would help Mr. Freeze by funding the research for the Huntington's disease that his wife unfortunately does suffer from. And it kind of seemed like that there was no intention of following through from Ferris Boyle's part, which is why Mr. Freeze is going after him. And now after hearing that, I'm kind of sitting there thinking, you know what? Go ahead and kill him. You can have him. I really don't care. I mean, yeah, we're Batman. We have to stop him, and that's kind of a drag. But to be honest, I'm perfectly fine with killing him. I control Batman, so I say you can kill him. Seriously, go ahead. I really do not care. Now, before we get to the Mr. Freeze boss battle and how good this boss battle actually was, seriously, this one was actually amazing. We get to absolutely mog all over the Penguin. Seriously, this is really funny. Check this out.
Can't leave me here, Batman. I'm freezing to death. You're gonna get me out of this damn iceberg.
You're good right where you are.
But you can't leave me here. I'll freeze to death.
Not my problem.
Oh, so you come back to gloat, have you? Oh, I'll hang you with that bloody cape. You hear me?
Yikes. Every time we see the Penguin, bro, this guy just loses aura. Seriously, it's almost like Batman, instead of like sucking his blood like a vampire, he is instead choosing to suck the aura out of Penguin paws and just make him look like a dingus every freaking time. It is honestly hilarious. I cannot get enough of it. Now, onto the boss fight. This boss fight was very good, like I said. It's very similar to the one with Batman Arkham City, except it adds a layer that you have to disable generators while having to deal with thugs, while having Mr. Freeze keep an eye out for you the entire time. This is not easy at all to balance. I died so many times doing it, but it was also because it takes a certain amount of skill to actually do. You can't just bum rush around to the cryo generators and just shut them down. No, you gotta go around to all three strategically and then take out Mr. Freeze on top of it. And even though you could technically use the same takedown on multiple occasions on Freeze in this one, this is also Batman Arkham Origins before he fully evolves into something even better and smarter than what he becomes. So it's kind of like smart in a way, I guess you could say. It's almost like showing his evolution throughout the course of the franchise. And honestly, yeah, like I said, this boss battle, absolutely fantastic. I really don't have any complaints other than the fact I just got frustrated because I kept dying so much and I kept having to make adjustments on the fly and didn't fully realize what I was actually doing until it was essentially too late. And the funny thing is, after playing this, it made me realize that this boss fight is a top 3 boss fight in the franchise, right? Like, if you were to say that it's better than the Ra's al Ghul from Batman Arkham City, you were to say it's better than Deathstroke, if you were to say it's better than Deadshot from Arkham Origins, I could absolutely get behind it, and I'd probably agree with it. The only thing I don't know if it really surpasses is the Batman Arkham City Mr. Freeze boss fight, which just goes to show how useful of a character Mr. Freeze truly can be when incorporated properly. And this is a prime example of incorporated properly. Having the number 1 and 2 best boss fights in the entire franchise just goes to show I really wish he was utilized more in this franchise. And finally, after half an hour of trying, yes, it took me a half an hour to beat this boss battle. We L-dance on Mr. Freeze's grave, because this guy is absolutely garbage. Easiest boss fight in the entire franchise. Definitely was not super challenging, made me want to quit entirely as a whole. Definitely didn't do that to me at all or anything like that. We actually beat Mr. Freeze so badly to the point that Ferris Boyle almost kills Mr. Freeze and Nora entirely. It only takes Batman be able to escape the ice due to his Batman porn suit, where he's also able to take down Ferris Boyle once and for all, and we are able to get out on top easy daisy. Now, Batman's actually able to restore the cryogenesis and save Nora Freeze's life, essentially. And as we know from the earlier DLC, Mr. Freeze, Nora Freeze, of course, these two all go on to live happily ever after. No issues whatsoever. And that is the end of Batman Arkham Origins Cold, Cold Heart DLC. Well, guys, if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you. I did not think the video was going to be this long. I thought it was... going into this, I was genuinely thinking half an hour tops. But I guess there's just so many details that you have to go through with these kinds of things. And the thing is, I didn't even go, like, super deep into detail. But I just want to take a moment to say thank you guys so much for everything. Seriously, without you guys, none of this is possible. And if you guys have made it this far, then you have to like and subscribe. It's part of the rules, or I'm going to come to your house, and I'm going to do it for you, okay? And then I'm going to do some non-PG things with your mom. I'm going to create Batman porn with your mother, okay? So you make sure you go subscribe right now. Thank you guys so much for everything. Seriously, without you, none of this would be possible. And there will be live streams of Gotham Knights coming your way soon. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next down in the comments below.